They call it a doom loop, and that means that the remedy is as bad as the malady. So the malady is that 25% to 30% of the downtown is empty as far as office space. People do not want to go there. The federal government just said that people should not come into San Francisco to work at federal government buildings because it's too dangerous. So businesses are leaving, from Whole Earth to Walmart's to Nordstrom, you name them, they're leaving. And they're leaving because they're suffering unsustainable larceny, shoplifting, outright thievery, losses. And they're leaving because they can't do anything about it. And they're leaving because the police won't come or can't come, or there's not enough of them. And so the revenue is leaving, and it's not a question anymore of defunding the police. It's funding the police. You don't have any money. So how do you stop the doom loop? Do you raise taxes and then you further alienate businesses? Do you borrow the money to hire policemen to Gavin Newsom, right, that you bring in the National Guard? Imagine a guy running for president that was mayor just recently of the city, and now he says you have to bring in federal National Guardsmen to keep the order when he was the mayor. And he won't voice one word of criticisms about the policy that he or his successors embraced that caused this problem. It's not like this is El Paso, or it's a place where, Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm not making fun of those places, but as far as the weather and the scenery and the ocean, it's a beautiful city. So it's very hard to destroy it. And yet they did it in just 3 or 4 years, which is something. They did the same thing to Portland. They did the same thing to Seattle, Minneapolis, Los Angeles. They do it to anything they touch. They have the Midas touch. And what do you mean by that, Victor? I mean, they raise taxes on the people who work and play by the rules. They pay the taxes. They insult them. They glorify or romanticize violence. They have decriminalized the legal code. So if you steal under $950, you can do that every day, and it's just going to be a bunch of misdemeanors, and they're not going to do anything to you. They make fun of the people who play by the rules. They have no respect for human life. And the only thing that's weird about San Francisco and Los Angeles, these places, they keep attacking and insulting the productive element of society. They make fun of meritocracy, so they get rid of it at Lowell High School. They make fun of classical art, so they wash over murals. They pass laws that are so restrictive that no one can follow them who wants to build a home or improve or remodel his house. They have a bill in the legislature. They're going to strip the right of individual elected school board members to remove obscene material because they quote, it's supposedly quote unquote inclusive. So what do you do with all that? And the answer is people are leaving in droves. And so it's in a doom loop, and no one has the guts to stop it. They know what they're doing. They recall Mr. Boudin and London Breed, who was caught like Newsom without a mask as she hectored everybody to wear them, is saying now she wishes she could lower taxes. But they killed the golden goose, and it's a miserable place to live. So if any of you are listening and you want to go to downtown San Francisco, how do you get there? You take the Muni or the BART, and you want to know if it's dangerous. Well, they will not release videos of people who go out and attack people because that might stereotype the criminal, so that you could, I guess, profile them. Can't do that. So then you're going to say, I'm going to drive to San Francisco, Victor. Yeah, okay. So if you park anywhere near the downtown, somebody's going to break into your car and steal everything, and the police are not going to come. Well, I'll roll down the windows. Maybe they'll just rifle through it. Well, I'll open the glove compartment. I'll open the trunk too. And I'll put a sign saying nothing's here. Well, that might work for a while. And then what are you going to do when you park? You're going to go into your building. You're going to step over some homeless person that is a victim. And if they stand up and say, don't get near me, and they come at you drug-addled, what are you going to do? You're going to push them down, push them away, call the police? Or as you're going into your office, you're stepping and you smell something, you look at the bottom of your shoes and there's human excrement or a piece of drug paraphernalia, a broken needle stuck to the side of your shoe. Is that what you want? Everybody says, no, I don't need that. Not with 13.3 income tax rate in California. What's very funny about these people is they created all this. And they made a desert, as I said, and they called it civilization. And now they don't want to live in it. And they don't wonder what's wrong. And then they wonder why people don't like them. And so that's how they think. And they're in a complete bubble. There's a backlash against all of this. Trump is part of it. He's not it, but he's part of it. And the left just keeps pushing. The final arbiter is always reality. And the reality is, would most people like to live in San Francisco, enjoy all the elements of that beautiful city and that vibrant culture? Or would they rather live in Bend, Oregon? Or would they rather live in Reno, Nevada, or St. George, Utah? And the answer is the latter. They don't want to live there anymore. And these are not right-wing people always. So they created their Frankensteinian monster that's devouring them. I don't know when wisdom comes, at what point wisdom comes with these people. History suggests that people are quite capable of destroying their culture and committing collective suicide before they understand what they're doing. Look at Detroit. People knew what was going on in Detroit as they destroyed that beautiful city, and yet they couldn't stop themselves. But the problem is the moral caliber, the moral failing of society, and nobody wants to address that. I don't know if it's a lack of religion or a belief in a divine hereafter, transcendent. That seems to be on the wane. I don't know whether it's the lack of deterrence, so they don't fear any punishment anymore. But we're coming to a point where this is not just a philosophical, abstract discussion. This is about how you actually drive, get out of your car, go to work, eat, function, get on a plane that's safe, or not. And the or not is now very likely, I think. It's starting to unravel, at least in these blue cities. It's going to be very fascinating because in this next election, what are the people in the blue cities going to be saying? I love what Portland is. I love what San Francisco is, or I'm going to vote for what we did to San Francisco, even though I moved to Tennessee. It's going to be interesting to see. It's part of a larger trend of decivilization. That's a good word to know. We use decolonization. Let's have a new word called decivilization. And it's everywhere with the left today. Smash and grab. Soros prosecutors don't decriminalize the statutes, defund the police, turn over large swaths of the inner city, downtown to homeless people, and let's get rid of natural gas. Let the Chinese build coal plants at 2 or 3 a month, but we'll cut back on clean burning. That's what we're doing. And you can see it in our schools where there's a new math statute that says basically we're not going to teach algebra in these hard courses because they're discriminatory against people of color. We'll go back to math as it existed in 1850, and that will be really good. And then when somebody in the popular culture says, hey, my cell phone is not what I want, or I downloaded something that doesn't work, or I tried to play a video game and it was of poor quality. Well, you said, well, you got rid of algebra and calculus and math. What'd you expect? That's what they are. They're decivilizationers.